Today we are discussing all things light armor. Now we have a lot of info to cover and no time to waste, so let's head inside and let's get to it. Like most things in 7 Days to Die, light armor has a 3-tier system. There are 3 different levels of light armor, starting with padded at tier 1, leather at tier 2, and military armor at tier 3. Each piece of armor comes with a list of stats. The first line is the light armor rating. This is the damage mitigation percentage that you will receive from this armor. The next line is the explosion resistance level. This number indicates the damage mitigation you receive from this armor with regards to explosive damage. Explosive damage and base damage are different. That's why they have different stats for each damage type. The next line is your armor crit resist. This stat represents how resistant this piece of armor is to critical hits by the zombie jerks. The next line is stamina per second. Because yes, of course, folks, wearing armor does have a stamina cost. Generally speaking, you'll notice that the padded armor has a 0 stamina cost. However, if we take a look at the military armor, you will notice that the stamina cost for the military helmet is minus 0.57 stamina per second. That means that with the military armor on, some of the actions you make, swinging your weapon, swinging a tool, sprinting, those all cost an additional 0.57 stamina while wearing the military armor. The next line is mobility. Wearing armor does give you a mobility penalty. So wearing this military helmet will slow you down by 4%. Next up is the noise increase. Wearing armor does increase your noise level. Your noise level is how zombies detect you. The higher the noise level, the easier you are to detect. So wearing armor does increase that noise level. And the last item is max durability. This stat represents how much punishment your piece of armor can take before it breaks. Now, I did want to point out one interesting fact. Padded armor has no stamina, mobility, or noise penalty. The leather and military armor do, however, have stamina, mobility, and noise penalties to wear these sets. So, if you're looking to go extra sneaky, padded armor is not a bad bet. No stamina cost, no mobility decrease, and no increase in noise level. I do believe the padded armor is the only armor that does not have a penalty in order to wear it. Light armor is governed by the light armor perk located in the agility tree. While improving your light armor skill does not increase the damage mitigation, it does reduce the movement and stamina penalties of wearing light armor. It also improves the durability. Tier 1 of light armor does unlock the ability to craft leather armor. Crafting military armor, however, cannot be unlocked by this perk. The only way to unlock military armor crafting is by finding the schematic. In order to get your light armor perk up to level 4, you are going to need an agility of 7, but once you do, you'll be able to craft quality 5 light armor, and you'll reduce the movement penalty by 75%, the stamina penalty by 50%, and improve the durability of your light armor by 200%. Light armor is great for stealth builds. That is why it is in the agility tree. You have the archery perk also in this tree, and archery has the best sneak attack bonus. You also have the stealth perks, hidden strike and from the shadows. So light armor is perfect for anyone out there looking to have a stealth build. Now let's take a look at the mods that are available for these armor sets. First up, we have the armor pocket mods. These will increase your carrying capacity by 1, 2, or 3 slots. In the beginning, a lot of the slots in your backpack are actually locked. You need to improve your carrying capacity in order to unlock the spaces. Now, when I say locked, I don't mean that you can't put anything in those spaces. They do, however, give you an over-encumbrance penalty if you are carrying too many items. So the pocket mods, the armor pocket mods, are excellent mods to add to your armor. Next up, we have the plating mods. We have the armor plating, which gives you +1 to your armor rating. And we have the banded armor plating that gives you +2 to armor rating. You can only put one of these in your armor. You can't put an armor plating and a banded armor, and you cannot put multiples of the same. So you can't put 2 armor plating, you can't put 2 banded armor, you can only have 1 in each piece of armor. Next up, we have the fittings mods, which decrease the stamina and mobility penalty of your armor. The improved one will give you +0.02 to your stamina and 2% mobility. The customized gives you +0.05 and 3% to mobility. Then we have the connectors mods. This decreases that noise penalty. So the muffled connectors decreases that noise by 4%, and the advanced muffled connectors decreases the noise by 8%. Now, I did want to point out that the padded armor cannot hold the fittings mods. Fitting mod will decrease that stamina and mobility penalty, and the stamina and mobility penalties cannot go below 0. So if we were to throw these into our padded hood, that would actually give us a stamina boost instead of a stamina penalty. And that's just a no-no. The game will not allow that. Same with mobility. If we threw a customized fitting mod into our padded armor, it would actually increase our mobility, making us faster. So that the game says, no, you can't do that. Nope, sorry, not gonna happen. However, the customized fitting mod, you can put on your padded armor, making you even harder to detect. So you can actually have negative noise level, making you even more difficult for the zombie jerks to detect. So if you're going for a super stealth build, padded armor with some advanced muffle connectors, very, very good combination indeed. Next up, we have our environment mods. We have the cooling mesh, which gives you a heat resist of +5. It also gives you explosion resistance of +1, which is cool. And then we have the opposite, the insulated liner, which gives you the cold resist of +5 and the explosion resistance of +1. And the bottom row here are mods that are armor specific. For instance, we have the bandolier mod, which gives you the 15% faster reload speed. However, it can only go into the chest or leg armor, and you can only have one of these mods in your setup. We also have the impact bracing mod. This reduces fall damage, but this can only be placed in your boots. And last, we have all of the helmet mods. We have the helmet light, which gives you a light on your helmet. We have the water purifier, which allows you to drink murky water with no penalty or no possibility of getting dysentery. And then we have the hat mods, I guess we'll call them. These mods give you all the benefits of these clothing items without actually sacrificing your armor rating. So if you're in the desert, throw a cowboy hat mod on your helmet, and you will get that 13 heat resist without having to sacrifice your armor rating. Now it's time to go out and have a little fun with some zombie jerks. Actually, it's not going to be very much fun for us, because pretty much we're just going to stand there and let the jerks punch us in the face, just so I can demonstrate the effectiveness of these armor sets. So let's get out there and let's get to it. And in order to help us out with these tests, we have our good friend, Zombie Arlene. She has generously volunteered to punch us repeatedly in the face. For the first test here, I am going to take everything off. We're going to be completely naked, and we're going to let Arlene punch us in the face. So Arlene, if you would, please punch me in the face. There we go. So as you can see, we took 8 points of damage when Arlene punched us in the face. Let's go ahead and reset, and let's throw on our padded armor. So now we have a full set of padded armor. This gives us an armor rating of 36. Now let's see what happens when Arlene punches us in the face this time. Arlene, if you would, please punch me in the face. So this time, instead of 8 damage, we only took 5. Next up, let's go ahead and get ourselves some leather armor. So we're going into the tier 2 armor here. So there we go. We've got a full set of leather armor, and this gives us an armor rating of 42. Let's see what this does. Arlene, if you would, please punch me in the face. All right, once again, we only took 5 points of damage. And last but not least, let's go ahead and slap on our military armor. There we go. We've got a full set of military armor. Very nice. This gives us an armor rating of 50, so let's see what this does. Arlene, if you would, please punch me in the face. And this time we took 4 points of damage. With no armor, we took 8 points. With the padded armor and the leather armor, we took 5 points. And with the military armor, we took 4 points. You might be asking why exactly that is. And that's because the armor rating is the percentage that the damage is mitigated. So right now we have an armor rating of 50. That means that 50% of the damage will be mitigated. Arlene normally attacks and does 8 damage to us. Because we have an armor rating of 50, that is reduced by half. So we only take 4 points of damage. The higher you get your armor rating, the higher the damage mitigation. If we go ahead and throw banded armor mods in all of our armor pieces, that bumps us up to an armor rating of 60. So let's go ahead and spawn in a zombie Arlene and let's get her to punch us in the face and see what this does. And as you can see, we are down to only 3 points of damage. So why exactly did we take 3 points of damage? Well, let me try to explain it one more time. Our armor rating is 60, and when Arlene punches us in the face, she typically does 8 damage. Since our armor rating is 60, we mitigate 60% of that damage. 60% of 8 is 4.8. So we are mitigating 4.8 points of damage. That gets rounded up to 5. 8 minus 5 is 3 points of damage that actually hits us. We mitigate the other 5 damage because our armor rating is 60. Light armor definitely has some pros and cons. On the plus side, the stamina, mobility, and noise penalties for wearing light armor are much, much less than heavy armor. On the downside, the armor rating is significantly less. Light armor is great for stealth builds. If you're looking to go the sneaky route, definitely lean towards light armor. Hopefully you folks found this video helpful and enjoyable. If you did, be sure to subscribe to Saven's World and turn on notifications so you do not miss a single one of our tutorial videos. Speaking of which, click on the playlist on the top right in order to catch up on all of the tutorials we've released so far. But for now, this is Saven saying thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me in Saven's World. And remember, the average gamer is always king of the hill on the bell curve.